Okay, in this video, we're going to go over some usage tips. Okay, now I signed in for the first time with my new ID. Okay, now I told you before that if you hit the right control key, you can do different things. And I put this into scaling mode by hitting Control and C. Okay, now here it is back. And what scaling mode did was it took this menu off here and allowed me to scale the window. See, if I extend the window, you'll see that I have white bars on the side, and some of the window is below my recording area here. So I have to scrunch it up to get it in here, and then once I do that, then I have to roll down to get it in the window. Okay, so let me go into this menu up here and we'll do view, and you see we can switch to full screen with host and F. So if I hit my right control key and the letter F, it will go into full screen. And this is what I'm telling you about scaling mode, which is what it was when I first came in here. It was host and C. And then we can adjust the window with host and A. So let's hit host, which is right control and A. Okay, and then we can adjust the window like so. Okay, so this is just kind of what I had before, where it's going to have the scrolling. Okay, so if I hit Control C, and then it comes up and it tells you what it is, and you can turn this off if you want, but I like to leave it up just to remind myself. Okay, and now if I look up here, see the menu key is gone. All right, so now if I go to the bottom here and I scroll it, or I move it up into the current window, there we go. Okay, now if I move it this way, it adjusts the window top and bottom and side. So it moves things out of my range here, or at least the range you can see. So get it to where it's comfortable for you. Okay, so now we have here our desktop, and down at the bottom, our start button and our taskbar. Okay, so let's go down here and click the start button. Okay, now you see that we have some live tiles on the right, and we have a Windows 7 looking menu on the left side. Okay, so this is like our typical Windows 7. We have our user up here. If we click here, we can do our power options. We have documents, pictures, PC settings, which will take us into settings, File Explorer. Okay, we're used to that snipping tool, and then calculator, sticky notes, paint, games, and then we have here all apps. Okay, now once we're in all apps, these are the apps that we have installed by default. So it's a very bare set because we don't have anything installed on here. This is just the bare Windows install. Okay, so for instance, if we were to launch Internet Explorer, of course that's going to come up. We got maps, music, news. Okay, and then over on the right side here, we have some default things. So we have Windows feedback. We have our music, Skype, video, and that's our OneDrive, people, calendar. Okay, what I want to get to though is store. So let's click on store. This is the same thing we had before in Windows 8 where you can go in and you can download apps. Okay, so this is where Windows 8 differs from Windows 7. And Windows 10 differs from Windows 7 is that we have an actual app store. Now the apps will act independently rather than within the Metro interface like they did when we were using Windows 8. So that's kind of nice. We can now use our apps right on the desktop. Okay, so here we are now in the App Store. Okay, so we can go through it here. Now as I say, I'm in a window mode here, so I have to mess around a little bit to so I can show you how it all works by moving the window up and down to in my recording area. But it's a little easier. You can just use your mouse and roll across when you're on your own computer and you're not trying to squeeze it in somewhere with these bars. So you'd put it in scaling mode. Okay, so let's install a free app just to get started here. So we can go and we can search as well. Okay, so let's go up to the search on the top here. And let's put Facebook. Let's click on that. Now, of course, when you're in a virtual machine, it's going to run much slower than it's going to run natively. So you're going to have to be a little bit patient when you're using this in a virtual machine. Now, obviously, it'll probably be faster than what I do now because I'm also running my recording software at the same time. Okay, so all you got to do now is click install, and it'll bring up whatever rights it needs. Okay, now since I used a local account, it's wanting a Microsoft account to sign in to the store. Okay, so I'll put in my current password here. Okay, so if I had to set up a Microsoft account at the beginning or sign into one, then this wouldn't be an issue, but I was just going through the demo. But I do suggest that you do that. You get a lot more functionality when you use a Microsoft account. Okay, so again, we can either sign into an existing one or we can create one. So I'll just sign into an existing one. Okay, so keep in mind, I could have avoided all this by just setting up with my Microsoft account at the beginning. Now, if you don't want to use the store during your preview or you don't want to use a Microsoft account, then by all means, you can just do what I did, just use a local account. Okay, so it's just telling us what's going to happen here with OneDrive. Okay, so yes, we're going to switch to a Microsoft account. Okay, so now it's brought me back to Facebook or to the store into Facebook so that I can finish the installation. Okay, so as you see, it's installed it. Down here, it's just asking me to add some info to pay for paid apps. I'm not going to do that, so just ask me later. All right, so now let's go back. Now, let me roll down here so you can see the whole screen. Okay, so here we are. Now let's go down to the start menu. Okay, and then we have installed Facebook now. So if we go to all apps, you should see Facebook in here. Okay, and here we are. There's Facebook. Now if I right click on this, I can open, uninstall, pin to the start menu, or pin to the taskbar. So let's pin it to the start menu. Okay, and this is how we get our live tiles over to this side of the menu. Okay, so if I click on this now, it'll bring up the Facebook app. Okay, now I don't really want to be in this, so I'm just going to go down to the taskbar here, right click on this. I'm going to close the window. Okay, just like on any other version of Windows, same with the store here. Right click on this one and close the window. And we're back to our desktop. Okay, now if we go across here, okay, so this is the File Explorer. These are the things that are on here by default. We have Internet Explorer. Okay, and then here we have Task Viewer. If you click on that, you can add a desktop. Remember I said before that we can add a second desktop or a third or a fourth or however many we want. So we have virtual desktops. Okay, so with these virtual desktops, we can set them up however we like. So we can have different workspaces. Let me show you here. Let's go into the start. Let's open the calculator and let's open Paint. And then let's open one more program here. We'll open the snipping tool. Okay, now with virtual desktops, what you can do is let's go into here, into the task manager, and let's open up some virtual desktops. So let's create one more so we have 3. Okay, so let's go back and we'll open this again like that. So we're in our main window here. Now we're going to go into tab mode. Once you're in your main window, you can open up in tab mode. Okay, now let's say that we want to move each of these to its own window. So let's leave this one on window 1. Let's put this one on desktop 2. So I shouldn't have clicked on that, but we'll go back in there. So if we want to move this one to desktop 2, all we have to do is right click on it and then move to and then pick up the desktop. So we want desktop 2. Okay, and then let's say we want to move this one to desktop 3. Okay, so now when we go to desktop 1, there's the snipping tool. We go to desktop 2, there is paint.net. And when we go to desktop 3, there's the calculator. Okay, now you can also use the Windows tab or the Windows key and the arrows to get you back into here, and then you can just pick the one you want. Okay, so that's how you use the virtual desktop, and I think this is one of the neatest features for productivity, especially if you're only dealing with one monitor. Now you have as many desktops as you want where you can be performing different tasks. Okay, now one more thing I want to show you here is the live tiles. So I installed Netflix on here, and this is showing us what I was searching on or what I played last. So it's scrolling through here to see it's a live tile. But if you right click on these tiles, you can do different things here. We can unpin, we can pin it to the taskbar, we can uninstall it right from here and resize. So we could resize this one to a medium size, and you'll see that it jumped in with this one here. Okay, now we can move these around too, so we can grab a hold and move them wherever we want. So we can organize it the way we like, and of course we can resize it once it's here. So let's make it large. Okay, so you can set them up all the way you like them, and then you have your live tiles in here. So your live ones you can make bigger, so they're useful, and the ones that aren't live you could make smaller. Okay, so there's no reason for this one to be large, so we'll make it small again. Okay, so that is how you can use the live tiles in the start menu. Okay, so now you have Windows 10 set up in a virtual machine so that you can test it out.